too, WRPB and WRPB Studios. So those who've been following me forever know that being on the water and boating was always what I did up north. And then I moved to Florida and I didn't get a boat. But I remember those days of having a boat and how much work it is. And one of the things is if you leave the boat in the water, you need to have the bottom clean. Sitting next to me is Captain James Allen, and it's dark seas diving.
Yep.
And that's what you do. You do boat cleaning, bottom,
Yes,
or
sir.
the whole boat.
Yep, do the whole boat. We do that. We change their zincs. Sometimes we'll take off their props if they hit something on their way over from the beautiful Bahamas, because I know a lot of people like to go across. Mainly keep their boat clean and working properly so they don't use too much gas as well going over there. And when they come down their dock, when they're here to go have fun, their boat looks beautiful and ready to go when they get down there.
How long have you been around the industry?
Been around the industry. This will be going on for 5 years. I started the business now. It's this will be my second year. I also help out other people that are in the industry with different boats if they need my assistance with it, just because I know a whole bunch of boats and stuff like that now.
Well, and you also, one is our captain, so you know boats.
Yep.
And two is you scuba dive.
Scuba dive. Yeah, I'm a master diver. I do all that. I'm actually in training right now to be an instructor, just to do it on the side, because literally I'm always in the water and I enjoy it more than anything. So that's kind of why I got into the business.
Okay, so you're always in the water.
Yep.
I believe, and I could be wrong, that scuba diving is a pricey sport.
It's a expensive hobby. I'm not gonna lie. I pick up some of the hobbies that are very expensive, but I tell you one thing, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like even doing with this business and stuff like that, the stuff that you do get to see underneath the water is just amazing.
Well, why did you get into it?
The funny part is I came down here 5 years ago and I went to look for a job to be a mate on like a fishing boat and stuff like that, since I'm a commercial fisherman for clams up in New Jersey. And I ever kept getting shut down for 3 solid weeks. And I went all the way down to this one place. It was called Sailfish Marina. And this guy comes out of the water and he's wearing like all this scuba gear. And of course, it perked my interest. So I'm like, I got to go ask this guy, what's he all about? So I go over there. He tells me he's here cleaning the boats and stuff like that. And he dives underneath there. And I got to go get certified. And I can go and get a job doing all that. So that's where my whole scuba diving and everything started taking off. Because once I did it once, I was hooked. And now being able to do a business plus work at this place down here, like the boats down here are just were mind blowing, just the amount of stuff down here. So I was like, I think I'm in the right spot. So yeah.
I don't know, a lot of people might not understand the philosophy of cleaning of the bottom of the boat.
Yeah.
Okay, if you let that go, you're going to use more gas.
Yep.
And your boat's not going to reach the speeds that you sometimes would like it to reach.
No, not at all. Especially when they, and being closer, like I tell a lot of guys, if you're closer to the inlet, you get a lot of like hard growth and stuff like that. And that really will do, like, one, you'll feel vibrations and stuff like that. The good captains will figure that out and know the boat's got to be clean. And down here, it's never ending. It's warm, all the time. So basically, you always want to keep up on it. I know if you put it to perspective, is what I always tell people, it's definitely cheaper to have a diver like me to come down and take care of your boat, because if you want to haul it out and have to really get it worked on, you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. So our business that we're in, we're there actually to save you money and save you money on gas and make your boat that you paid a lot of money for to look nice and pretty.
And for me, and I say this a lot, that's not a DIY project. Okay, it could be very dangerous going underneath the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, we do a lot of the marinas and stuff now. You have to check in before you get there, insurance, everything. It's not that you just walk on a dock and go and clean boats now. They've had some accidents, stuff like that. So they're really run a tight ship, all the marinas down here. And basically, you always want to make sure you bang on the door on the boat and stuff like that. Make sure the captain's on board. You always have another like diver with you just in case. We put out flags just so everybody knows, but you make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's before you get underneath the water, because the last thing you want to do is have somebody start the motor while you're underneath the water. Well, it's you have to change your wetsuit pretty quickly if they do that.
I remember being a kid. My uncle had a boat, and of course, I was running around like the little kid I was, and the boat is docked, and I fall off of the boat between the boat and the dock, and I don't think everybody laughed for a moment, but that could be super dangerous because that boat could have come back and smashed my head
Yeah.
against the dock.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't look at those things. And I'm not interested in a number, but I guess it's the bigger the boat. How do you price it? By the size of the boat?
Yeah, you do per foot, is how you price out the boats. And sometimes it's also the amount of hours that you spend on them, because a lot of people, don't take the boat out. Like, a lot of people just come down there to hang out in the boat and stuff like that. They don't take it for like a drive or anything like that. So sometimes you could be underneath the boat a little longer and you use up, more of your air and all the other stuff. So, I mean, you can add on to that, but mainly it's flat out just the size of the foot, depending on, and what kind of, like, there's jet drives, there's like different boats and stuff like that. So basically it's per foot is what you charge. And then if they have to replace their zincs, which are really important down here, with all the electrolysis in the water here, it's important to have them, so it costs a little bit extra for doing them and stuff like that. So
Okay, so because I know a little bit about boats, there are different kind of hulls.
yep,
Does that change the price?
not really. Most of them, you basically just go from tip to the back. From the
Okay.
bow to the stern is basically the footage that you say. There's a lot of boats that have a bigger, hull. You got sailboats that have gigantic keels.
Right.
You basically just price it out from the bow to the stern.
And I was thinking about twin hull boats.
Twin hulls, same thing. Because, they do all the different, cats, they have the double hulls
Right.
and stuff like that. Yeah, I still do the same thing, just keep it from what it is from one point to the other, so from bow to stern.
Okay, so I had a 34 foot.
Yep.
So I had a Sea Ray 340, which I had taken out of the water every time I came back. It was dry docked and stuff. But I lost out on the privilege of staying on the boat, at night, not just taking it out.
Yep.
And that was an issue for me. If you're dry docking, I guess you have to cleaning the bottom is not as often as it is if it stays in the water.
No, I mean, you're not getting out, like, if it's always dry docked, yeah, you don't, most of the people, when you dry dock them, they don't even paint the bottoms of the boat and stuff like that, because you don't need to. Everybody likes that sleek look on their boat. So that's why a lot of people do the dry dock and obviously do the boat lifts and stuff like that. It's kind of tough doing that on bigger boats. You can't really do a boat lift. So they keep them in the water, and other people, they want to just have that boat sitting in the water and jump in and go. Certain areas I sit there and recommend, like every 3 weeks. Some places I say every month. You want to come down and get it taken care of, just because the growth down here it's unbelievable how fast stuff grows down here. Especially the closer you are to the inlet, the faster stuff grows. But yeah, dry dock. All you need is a power wash if you want to make her look pretty. As for being in the water, it really will save you money and stuff like that. If you got a diver, get them on a schedule, and then get like a good rapport. Like, that's my biggest thing with dealing with all the different captains and different people, because sometimes you go to their houses to take care of their boat, and they got to trust you. So that's why I enjoy going and doing this and being hands-on with my business down here, just so the owners know me. And they know that I know their boat, and you get them on a schedule, so I know exactly. You want to know exactly what to do on their boat, so that way when they come down wherever they're at, they come down and they don't have to worry about anything. They jump in, turn the key, and go.
Just to clarify what you said, because you said you go to their house. Well, we're in Florida, and a lot of boats are docked at people's houses.
Yep.
Okay, so now you're coming on their property. Okay, and you're going on their dock.
Yep.
Behind their house. Does it take any special equipment besides the scuba stuff to clean the bottom of a boat?
Yeah, mainly what I use, I like to set up. A lot of guys will use their BCs and, like, stuff you see diving, that kind of their setup and everything. I use a hookah setup. I have a 100-foot line and a 60-foot line, depending on what size the boat's going to be. And it's basically a tank on a cart, because sometimes you got to go like way far down docks and stuff like that. And you put them on a cart, and you put all your tools, you put your zincs, everything's basically on my cart when I go down there. And then I run out of line depending on how big the boat is, stuff like that. So I don't have any of the extra stuff on me, just a weight belt and basically just a straight line and a setup and stuff like that. So,
Which would make sense to me because I think that if you had to have tanks on the back of you,
yep.
it would be
Yeah, you hit stuff. I
Right.
mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've bumped my head so many times just because the water's so dark here. You just don't see it. It's like out of nowhere, and it's. I enjoy just being able to be free, so that's why I use the hookah setup, and it just makes it easier cleanup because you don't have more of the BC on you, because there's them little bugs that are on the boats when you get them like nice and dirty, and they get inside of everything, and
Right.
yeah, and they're not really fun. They sit there and scratch you, so it's almost like a mosquito biting you, these things. So I don't like, I like to use the least amount of stuff that I have. So it's basically just a wetsuit, a head thing, and then basically that's it.
when you. So this is a question I ask because being an entrepreneur makes, to me, if you're an entrepreneur, you're a little crazy. So, and if you're an entrepreneur with a brick and mortar, you're more crazy. And if you're an entrepreneur with a brick and mortar in the food industry, you're really crazy.
Yeah.
But when you started, did you have family support?
I had family support. They thought I was nuts when I first, because I have a business up there in Jersey. And I said I threw everything in my truck and drove down here because, and I stopped St. Augustine and Sebastian. And then I finally ended up hitting Hobe Sound. I made a wrong turn.
Yeah.
And I went through that Bridge Street, or Bridge Road. And I got down there and I was like, wow, what the heck is this place? And then I went farther down than North Palm, and that's where I was to learn everything the first year. Everything just fell into place with it. And they thought I was nuts, but they're like, just go ahead, try it, So they're just like, go do it. Up there it's cold, so I said the heck with it. My clam season was done and came down here, and it just happened to work out that kind of way.
So up north, I guess the clam has seasons?
Yeah, basically right after Labor Day, most people go back to schools. All the kids go back into school. And funny thing is, it's the most beautiful time of the year, September and October. But as soon as Labor Day comes, it shuts down. And then when they get that first cold morning, everybody doesn't want to eat clams or drink beer. They basically just want to sit there and go eat mama's chicken pot pie or some kind of meatloaf where it gets warm again,
That's
stuff
that's the northern mentality.
That is the total northern mentality.
So it's funny because we were talking before he got on the air, and he said,
Yeah.
so I came down, and each time I come down, I stay longer and longer and longer. And I'm guessing the ultimate goal is to move here permanently.
Yeah, I'm like just being a person that's always in the water, and I can be in the water 360 days a year or 65 days a year. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Everything that I do down here, and especially once I got big into this, diving, not just cleaning boats. You never know what you're going to see in the water as well. So I'm basically living in SeaWorld at all times.
Wow.
Especially some of the places you go closer to the inlets where the water's clear. You never know what you're going to see. I got some unbelievable videos of stuff. I started bringing down a GoPro because I'll tell this to people and they wouldn't believe it. Funny quick story. The one guy was laughing. I was in Hobe Sound, and this manatee took a liking to me for some reason. And the captain's sitting there laughing. I'm trying to push the thing back, and it just keeps pushing me, and finally had me pinned up against the gunnel of the boat. He's laughing so hard. He goes, I wish I had a cat on my phone right now to take a picture of this. And I'm laughing. I'm trying not to laugh. I'm like, dude, help me get out of the water. What are you doing? He's like, I can't. He goes, that's hilarious. He goes, I think she likes you. And I dove underneath the boat and went over there. But I mean, stuff like that. You see beautiful sharks all the time, They don't mess with you. You see unbelievable fish, tarpon, stuff like being from the north, you never really get to see. And it's really, that's the best part about this job,
And you also do, so you detail the whole boat.
Yep.
So it's not only the bottom.
Yeah, it's not the glamorous job in the world, but you know what? It's really like, I always used to say it too, you're getting like a workout, like it's almost like going to the spa. You're in the nice little warm water, sitting there getting a suntan, you're out there swimming around in the water and stuff like that. You get a little muddy, you get a little mud bath every now and then. So it's really, really fun. It's a fun job. And it's a physical job. It's very physical, But at the end of the day, you sit there and you admire these boats that you get to go and do, and you get to meet some really. That's my favorite thing is you get to meet some really really interesting people.
Oh yeah.
Especially down here they come from all over. So I'm one of them people that just love sitting there, just listening to different people and where they come from, what they've done, blah blah blah. It's all around.
That
really
is
fun.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're getting to the top of time. How do people find you? I know I found you on social media.
Yep.
You have a phone number?
I have a phone number. It is 609-709-9803. It's Dark Seas Diving. It says my name on it when you answer, and it also says my other business, Just Digging at Clams up in New Jersey.
Oh, cool,
That's
man.
me. So yeah, just you leave a message and stuff like that. I get back to you guys. It's literally, I always used to put on there, as soon as I get out of the water, I promise you, I'll get back to you. Cell phones don't really work too well underneath the water.
No, that'll change.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everything else, that'll
Oh, yeah.
change. You'll have the thing in your ear. It's waterproof. But you know, the technology is moving forward and moving forward. Everybody, if you're blessed to have a boat
Yep.
and have spent the money for this boat, you should be smart enough to take care of it. Okay, because it in this day and age, a boat is, if not as much as a house, sometimes more.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all the things that can go wrong in your house are nothing compared to the few things that go wrong on a boat, because they're just really costly
You
to
ain't
fix.
kidding. You ain't kidding.
So, just kind of take care of it. It's easier to lay out the money in pieces, for lack of a better word, than to lay out one lump sum when something goes wrong. Captain, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much too, Wayne. It's really been a pleasure.
Everybody will be right back.